Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lori. I wanted to do a video today on the power of being conscious right now as we are moving through our ascension path. And not only the power of being conscious, but how being conscious is the key to really being able to feel and see yourself ascending. A lot of times as we're moving through these shifts, we don't necessarily see how far we have come or feel how far we have come, and we beat ourselves up and we play these tapes in our heads that we're not doing it fast enough, or our abilities aren't opening fast enough, the activations aren't happening fast enough, whatever it is that we say to ourselves. And the only reason you're saying that is because you're not aware of how much you've already shifted. Because a lot of times we are thinking about where we want to be as opposed to where we are right now. And sometimes where we are right now doesn't look like ascension. It doesn't look like you're in a higher frequency. It doesn't feel like you're in a higher frequency, right? How could feeling sad or anger or depression or exhaustion or any of the gamut of things that you could be feeling, how could that possibly be me experiencing myself in a higher frequency, or that I'm actually ascending, right? So this video is about letting you know, reminding you that you are every now moment ascending, in every now moment, regardless of how it is being experienced. Because ascension runs the gamut of experiences. It's not rose-colored glasses all the time that you're wearing. You're not always in the heart center. You're not always feeling unity consciousness, right? You're feeling all of the humanness because you're consciously and courageously ascending. So your consciousness is evolving. Your energy is evolving. Your frequency is increasing. It's a miraculous thing that we're going through. And it's not a cookie cutter sort of picture. You don't just find yourself always in these blissful, expanded states. We have to move into that. We have to experience ourselves clearing and shattering and releasing and learning and remembering, right? Everything that's happening. And what happens is we get so stuck on where we want to be, what we want to be experiencing, where we should be, where we think we need to be, what we should be experiencing, what others are talking about, what others are experiencing, that we are not aware of our own conscious now moment, which is the gift and the key to showing you how far you've come. So when you're in those really low states, right, you want to be just as conscious when you're in there as when you're in the higher states, because when you come out of the low state and find yourself in a little bit of a higher state, all of a sudden you will be very conscious of how different it feels, how different your body feels, right? And it can switch from literally one day to the next, or 6 hours you're low, 6 hours later you're high, right? And I don't say low as in bad or high as in good. It's just the frequency and vibration that your body is experiencing, that you are experiencing, right? In the ascension path that we're all courageously moving through, it is not a straight line. And it's not a straight uphill, right? It's a constant, it's the calibration of frequencies. It's the calibration of energies. I mean, if you're watching, the frequencies of the earth and how there's massive amounts of light that come onto the earth, and the earth's own vibrational field shifts, right? Forgot the name of that. What's that called, you guys? The Sherman frequency. Resonance, right? Resonance, the Sherman frequency. You guys are going to tell me on the notes, on the comments. the Sherman frequency. What is it, you guys? Anyways, you know what I mean, where it measures the frequency of the earth. She's doing this as well, right? That's what's happening with our body. If we had a little magnet that could attach to our body, or a little tool that could attach to our physical form, and we could read it every day, we would have physical proof of like, oh wow, what I'm feeling is a higher frequency, what I'm feeling is a lower frequency, but we don't have that tool. So we have to be conscious. Our tool is consciousness. So you will be able to feel, see, hear, know all of it, how massively you have been shifting if you get conscious in every now moment. What we have been programmed to do, which many of you guys know, is that we are unconscious. Literally, even in the ascension process, we will become unconscious, or we will follow an old program or paradigm that will tell us this is what's happening and this is why it's happening. And what's actually occurring is that it's just energy and vibration that's shifting and moving around. That's it. And that shifting and moving of energy is going to create different thoughts. It's going to create different beliefs. It's going to make you think and realize and know that you have choices in every now moment. Oh my God, I have a choice in all of this. Holy cow. Oh my God, I feel like I'm no longer on this energetic grid that I used to be attached to, right? Conscious awareness every day allows for you to see where you've gone, where you've come from, where you are, right? And the other thing about being conscious is you start to understand your sovereignty and the power that you have as a being of light in physical form. Power meaning that there's no victimhood in ascension. There's no victimhood in any of this, right? And it's almost like the lights are going off out there, and all of the light is now on you. All the spotlights have now turned. Instead of out, all the spotlights are turned in on you now. And everything is on you. The sound is louder, right? The feeling is louder. The thoughts are louder. Everything is magnified because you're becoming conscious. You're not unconscious anymore. You're not shutting down, closing off, and pretending that things aren't actually happening, right? That you're not feeling certain things, thinking certain things, whatever it may be. And that process is courageous. That is what takes so much courage. And you don't give up, right? You don't give up. You just keep going. And the way you won't give up, the way you'll keep going in every now moment that you're experiencing yourself, is being conscious of how you're feeling regardless, because you will have feeling of days where you'll feel low and days where you'll feel high, days where you'll feel contracted, days where you will feel expanded, right? And if you're conscious all the time, in every now moment, you will be watching yourself like on a movie screen. And you're like, oh my God, today I'm feeling this. Today I'm noticing this in my body. Yesterday I noticed this feeling, right? You're becoming a scientist. Nobody's doing this for you. Nobody can pinpoint, right, what's going on in your own energetic field and your own energetic physical form, but you. You're the captain. And when I say you, it's all the aspects of you coming together as a team. It's the ego. It's the higher self. It's the I am presence. It's your guides. It's the light being that you are that's in a higher frequency, that dropped into the physical form, that knows exactly what's going on, that brought its little briefcase of the Akashic record and those light codes that are inside the DNA that are activating, right? All of that is one big massive team inside the physical form, connected to you through your channel. And the more you become conscious, the more you're aware of all of that. You may not hear it, you may not know who it is that's speaking to you, which aspect, but you start to become conscious that it's there, that these are aspects within me. Oh my God, yesterday I was full-blown ego. I don't say to myself, I'm not doing this right. I must not be doing this right if it's my ego, right? It is an absolute disservice service to your courageous, miraculous, and unique ascension journey if you judge yourself or you compare yourself to anyone else. Okay? There is no direct path through this. There is no right way. We are all going to eventually find ourselves in a heart-centered unity consciousness, whether you try to force yourself into that or you just allow yourself to be human and slowly flow straight into it. While you courageously allow yourself to be the human that you are with all of the third dimensional consciousness, including rage and anger and frustration and fears and jealousy, insecurities, all the human emotions. Instead of saying, uh-oh, I shouldn't be feeling these things. That's not part of the ascension path. I should be moving into heart-centered unity consciousness, right? You're going to find yourself there. You're going to get conscious that you're naturally there. You're going to consciously recognize, oh my God, today I have so much love for humans. I just can't believe how lucky I am that I get to be with all of these humans. Look at how all these humans are just lovingly doing their life, right? I don't force myself into that space. I don't tell myself to go into that space. That's just the space I'm in based on the natural frequency of my body in that now moment. There could be another now moment where all of a sudden I'm not feeling that at all. And I'm like contracted again. And my body is doing whatever it's doing with the energies and frequencies. And I don't feel like talking to any humans. I don't even want to look at humans. And I just want to go about my day and please don't talk to me, right? I don't even want to think about humans and what they're doing, any of that. Is that wrong? No. It's what's happening as my body is assimilating, acclimating, and anchoring different frequencies. So something's moving around. Something's bringing me into a contracted state. I'm going to go with the flow. If I force myself to try to move into something that I've been told I need to do in order to ascend, then I'm not allowing myself to float through my own river on my own raft, letting my physical form and all of the captains that I have with me leading me. I talk about all of this from my own personal experience and what has worked for me, what is continuing to work for me, and what I do every single day. As I am expanding, you guys, into kind of higher frequencies, and when I say expanding, I mean that I'm anchoring them. I can actually feel almost like, you start to go into these expanded states and then you contract back down, and then you go into these expanded states and you contract it back down. And what happens when you start anchoring is that it's almost like everything kind of quiets, and there's this like, it's like you've gone past the rapids and now you're on your raft and you're like, oh, I'm just floating. And I can feel that I've anchored frequencies in my form. So when I go to my yoga class, I'm looking around at humans and I'm just like, wow, what a beautiful group of light beings in physical form that are just doing the best they can. They are just living their life. That guy is doing his thing. I'm not irritated. I'm not frustrated. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be another now moment where I'm going to walk into that yoga class and be extremely annoyed with everybody. And am I going to beat myself up and say I'm not ascending? I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not doing this right. No, I'm going to be like, oh, look where I am today. Conscious awareness. Look how I feel. Look how my body feels. My body feels heavy. I feel contracted. I feel like I'm in a cave. Don't talk to me. That's it. There's no judgment around it, right? Because I know that I'm on my raft, moving through my own ascension path, unique to me. And I'm not going to force myself to move through rapids or move in a specific direction with my oar because that's how I'm told, or that's what you're supposed to do, right? Your physical form is really leading the way right now because it's the one that has to anchor you in. The physical form has to anchor these frequencies. It has to anchor the light. It has to anchor it in so that when those light codes that you brought in that are in a higher frequency, when those light codes turn on and activate, they can be on in the physical form. They cannot be on in the physical form, meaning vibrating and allowing you to feel them, if your body can't anchor its light. I'll say that again. Your light codes that you brought in with you, that hold your multidimensionality, which are the abilities for you to experience yourself as a multidimensional being. Activating the abilities to be in multiple dimensions, multiple states, all the different, sensories that we have that give us access to higher frequencies and higher dimensions, right? Those are in light codes. They are in the 12 strands of DNA and they get activated. You can't activate those light codes, you guys, if your body can't hold the light in that code. Your body has to hold that light code, which means it has to hold that vibration. And these vibrations within the light codes are at a higher frequency. Okay? So your body is first before your ego saying, I want these abilities. I want these psychic gifts. I want my DNA to turn on. I want to activate my DNA. We are trying to go ahead of where our physical form is capable of going. We have to let the physical form move us there, right? For a lot of us. And so what happens is the body, in every now moment, your body is acclimating, assimilating, and anchoring light in every now moment. Every millisecond, every second, every minute, every hour, every day. Can you consciously feel it? Can you consciously be aware of what's happening with the body? Can you consciously feel your energy? Can you feel the thoughts, the emotions, the beliefs, the paradigms, the programmings, your experience, your resonance with everything as you walk around? And can you remember that no matter what you do, the body is in charge. The body's doing this. And so you can go and try to activate things and try to make it go faster, but you're going to cause suffering because you're not going to necessarily receive and be able to anchor that which you're trying to activate until the physical form is capable of doing it. So how do you know, right? You know by not trying to do anything. You know when you all of a sudden in the now moment feel differently. You know that it's activated when all of a sudden you're staying as present as possible without judgment, attachment, a duality, like looking at it as good, bad, right, wrong, right? You're just allowing it to be experienced. That's it. That's all you're doing. And you're not trying to drive the boat. I need to be able to do this. I want this. It's very hard because we want to be able to have these gifts. We want to be able to activate this DNA. We're hearing all these people talk about this and it's like, I want that, I want that, I want that, right? I want to have these things. I want to feel it. It's like your body's doing the best it can, as fast as it can, and it's got to anchor it. So you just got to let go of the oars and let yourself float through that river on your beautiful, awesome raft, right? With all of your team members. And all of a sudden, in a now moment, you're going to start to recognize that the DNA, the light codes in the DNA are starting to activate. The only way you're going to recognize this is if you're conscious. Many times, you guys, these things creep up on you. It's not a massive, oh my God, I'm a multidimensional being all of a sudden. It's not like that, right? It doesn't happen like that. Oh my God, I all of a sudden have like clairaudience or clairsentience or it doesn't, for most of us, it doesn't happen that way. Ascension happens very slowly, like your hair growing, right? The next thing you know, 6 months later, you're in a totally different state of being. And you don't know when it happened or how it happened, but all of a sudden you are. And you didn't necessarily try to activate anything until your body said, here we go. Your body knows exactly, it's all energy. You don't need to direct any of it. Your ego doesn't need to direct any of it. Energy is taking care of it. The light codes know when to turn on. You don't need to worry about that. That's not your job. What's your job? To be conscious of how you're feeling, to love yourself more than you ever have as you're going through this path, as you're floating down that river, to not judge yourself, to have compassion for yourself and all the other humans that are going through it, and to relax into it. How much can I not control? Right? It's challenging. How much can I not control? How much can I just allow? So when we have certain activations from light beings, right, they activate certain parts of us. What they're doing is they're bringing in massive amounts of light, okay, which is great. But we have to be conscious of what we're experiencing when that light comes in. We have to be conscious of what may stir out of us. All of a sudden, am I feeling anger or rage or depression after that activation, right? That light coming into me, right? Because the body is going to say, whoa, you just brought in all this light. Holy cow, wait a second. And it may take 6 months for that activation from some being or some service that you had, right? It could take 6 months for that light to be anchored into the physical form. How conscious can you be of every second of that experience? You have to be the scientist. You have to, the Ascension is like an experiment, which it is, and it's in like a petri dish, and you're watching yourself in this petri dish, right? Shifting consciousness and form. So here you are in a petri dish. Very strange analogy. No idea where that came from. But imagine your body in a petri dish, and you're watching yourself as the light comes in, the light comes in, the light comes in, the light comes in. Maybe there's some palladium that comes over and brings more light in and more light in, right? And the ego inside this little form is trying to control everything and you know, do this, do this, do this, do all these things. I want to go fast. I want to do this. And the little body in the petri dish is like overloaded and exhausted and like can't move, and is in the aspect of that body, which is the human ego, is feeling depression or sadness, or, you know, they're having like flashbacks of all these experiences in their early childhood. Who knows what's going on, right? But you want to be the observer. You want to watch yourself in the petri dish as often as you can, as much as you can, 24/7. And then give yourself a timeout and go numb out and watch Netflix or do whatever you need to do, because 24/7 petri dish watching can drive you nuts. Consciously being aware all the time can be exhausting, right? It can be exhausting. Trust me, I do it all the time. Everything I go through, every experience I have, you guys, right now, I'm like literally watching it as if I'm a teacher, analyzing how I'm going through it so I can teach it to you guys. I'm like, wait, how am I experiencing this? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What am I thinking? How am I engaging with this person? What does this mean? I'm like a freaking scientist, so that I can come back and teach you guys how it unraveled, like what it was like. What did it feel like? What was I doing during that experience? You know, all of it. I'm like a scientist. And you want to be a scientist in your day, like as conscious as you can possibly be, and you don't want to try to control it, because the control creates the suffering. If you remember, you guys, it's energy. Energy knows how to do this. Your psychic gifts, your spiritual gifts, your divine purpose, your mission work, your blueprint, you know, your pineal gland, your third eye, all that stuff naturally turns on the more your body anchors the natural light coming in, right, for our ascension process, which we're all feeling, these portals and these massive flares from the sun, right? All these things that we're experiencing is allowing us to digest higher frequency light so that our form can anchor it in. And then all this crap gets, you know, muddled around, and then we have to release it more and more and more. And eventually you're anchoring into a little bit higher frequency. And as you do that, the DNA turns on, the light codes turn on. As you do that, you're clearing out your pineal gland. As you do that, you're activating your third eye. How do you know? You have to get conscious. See, what happens is that the human is unconscious, and then they're walking around like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want to feel this, I want to feel this, I want to feel that, I want to feel that. But they're numb to what's actually happening in their physicality, in their energetic field, in their resonance. They're not conscious of what they're feeling in every now moment. They're not conscious of their own vibration. They're not conscious of their resonance with another person or when they walk into a room. You've got to get conscious of energy, frequency, vibration in order for you to start to recognize when things are turning on. So these beings are looking down at the human's complaining about all these things, and they're like, they don't even realize that that aspects of their light codes are already turning on, right? Slowly turning on, but they're so focused on how it's supposed to look or how it's supposed to feel or how it's supposed to show to them that it's happening, that they aren't aware that it's already slightly starting to turn on. We need the human to come back in and become aware of what's happening. How conscious are you? That's how you will know that you are activating these multisensories. You're activating those light codes. You're activating your divine blueprint. You're activating that third eye or anything else. You've got to get conscious. We are so freaking programmed, to be unconscious and just kind of numb out, even when you are trying to be conscious as you ascend. It's a massive program. The key to feeling your ascension, to feeling your activations, to feeling how far you've come, the key to all of that is to be conscious. Conscious, conscious, conscious. I'm a scientist. I'm watching the Petri dish. I'm conscious. Because I guarantee you guys, you've shifted a lot more than you realize. I guarantee it. Even if you have just opened up to this whole path, I guarantee it. It's a slow process. It's like molasses. Okay? Again, I love the analogy of the hair growing. No matter what, for most of us, if you don't have hair, think of another analogy. You have hair in other places, or maybe you don't. Okay, think of some other analogy. Your nails growing, right? Most of us nails grow. Think of an analogy where something slowly grows no matter what. No matter what, it's growing, right? No matter what, it's growing. So stop trying to take care, stop trying to control it. And you just let it be, and you get conscious, right? You get real conscious. So I'm consciously aware that my hair is growing. I'm consciously aware that every single day it's growing. Meaning, every single day my body is acclimating, assimilating, and anchoring light. No matter what I feel, it's always doing that. Some days, as it's doing that, I may feel like shit. I may be exhausted. I know exactly what's happening. I'm anchoring, assimilating, and acclimating more light. Period. End of discussion, case closed. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing it less than, slower than. No matter what I feel in every now moment, I am always loving, honoring, wrapping my arms around the fact that I'm a freaking rock star because I'm staying present and I'm honoring this journey, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, no matter what I'm experiencing, I'm acclimating, anchoring, and assimilating light in the form. The body is. And when I allow it to just move and not judge it or get upset with it, I shift faster. And then all of a sudden I wake up one day and it's like, oh, I feel like I've anchored. You just feel it. Like I'm in a little bit higher frequency, and it's actually anchored in. When it's anchored in, you guys, your kind of up and down, right, kind of starts to be like this when you're anchoring, right? So here's like a third dimensional sort of flat line of unconsciousness, right? And then you start to go through the ascension journey, conscious ascension, right? Conscious ascension. And you start going high into frequencies and then low into lower frequencies that you've ignored in the body. And then you start tapping into higher frequencies. And in so doing, you start to tap into lower consciousnesses in the body, right? And normally a numb kind of human is just here. And what happens as your body starts to do this and starts to clear out the density and tap into these higher frequencies is this baseline starts to move up a little bit, right? And then what happens is that your baseline moves into a higher frequency. The baseline is what your body's trying to anchor into. So you don't dip as low. The density in here is clearing out, so there's not as much, right? And because your baseline is moving up, you're not necessarily going as high anymore. You're not like super high frequency because your body is slowly, so here's the third, right? And it's starting to shift out of and anchor into a higher frequency. So that up and down is not so high and low. It's starting to look like this. And then it starts to anchor more and it goes up, starts to anchor more and it goes up, starts to anchor more and it goes up. And the next thing you know, you're pretty stable. Not only are you kind of stable, but you're stable in a higher frequency. You've anchored. So when we begin, we're down here and it's like, whoa, massive roller coaster, lots of density, lots of high frequency, lots of density, lots of high frequency, no judgment where you are. And then as the body starts to move through this process, clicking, it's anchoring, it's anchoring, it's anchoring, it's anchoring, it's anchoring, and this becomes less. Doot, doot, right? So don't judge this process. At every now moment, you guys, this is what's happening. You've got to go here. We're going to feel the density. There's nothing wrong with it. And a lot of times what we try to do is feel ourselves into this space. Stop trying to control the way energy shifts. Stop trying to control it. You're not in charge. Just let go. Let it just do its thing. Let energy just do its thing. It'll happen a lot faster. I'm telling you, when you try to control it, I'm telling you from experience, when you try to control it and say, oh, I got to move into my heart because I'm way too dense and I'm feeling too much anger, rage, and whatever. I got to move back into my heart so that I can feel that like heart-centered consciousness. That's great. But what if your body's like, I need to be down here. I need to be down here, right? I need to be this. I need to experience this so that we can do this anchoring, right? And you're like, no, I got to get up here. You know, what the human doesn't understand is part of that heart-centered consciousness is compassion for yourself. So you want to hold compassion for yourself. If you're capable of moving into the heart as you're down here, then do it. But don't do it to try to move out of it, you know? You move into your heart so that you can have compassion for yourself and all other humans. You move into your heart while you're doing this to have love for yourself while you're doing this. Not to scoot out and move up here, because you're still going to do this no matter what you try to do, right? And then you're only going to get more frustrated and more frustrated and more frustrated, because this is the process. This is the journey. This is it. This is how it works. This is how energy works. It's natural. You can't deny it. The density in the form has to clear out, period. In discussion, case closed. It has to. And the high frequency light has to anchor down in, has to. That's how you shift frequency. It's natural. So if you try to control it and say, I don't like this, I want to be up here, you're going to have a lot of suffering and struggle. A lot of suffering and struggle because you're fighting against the natural currency of energy. So when you think about moving into the heart center, what you want to think about is, can I love myself through this? Can I love other humans as I'm going through this? Can I love other humans as they're going through this? Love and compassion for yourself through the journey. That's moving into the heart. Not, I want to move into a space where I don't experience this. Because these things aren't positive. These things are low. These things are negative. These things are bad. You know, no. Here we are. This is the process. Where are you along your journey, right? Oh, I'm down here today. Oh, great. I'm up here today. Oh, I'm right here today. I've been anchoring. I'm a rock star. We're all rock stars. We're all rock stars wherever you are. Hey, can you love yourself through this? Can you move into your heart and love yourself? Can you move into your heart and love yourself? I don't even move into my heart. I just love myself. If that means moving into my heart, great. But I love myself. I have compassion for myself. I honor myself. That's what I do when I'm doing this. And when I'm watching other humans do it, there's no judgment. And then all of a sudden I find myself in the last couple of weeks anchored into a much higher frequency. And I'm in this space, and maybe I'm doing this, right? A little bit, but it's not like this. And I find myself in much more love and joy and peace and harmony. I don't know if it's going to last because I don't have any attachment to any of it, right? But I'm not forcing myself to do anything. I never force myself into anything. I find ways in which I can ease something. If I'm down here and it's like, whoo, sweet Jesus, this is heavy down here, you know, I'll go for a walk. Maybe I'll go for a drive, go to the yoga class, whatever I'm going to do, but I don't try to get out of it, right? So anyway, the point is conscious awareness, consciousness, get conscious. That's your key. That's the message that wanted to come in today is you will find out, you will be able to recognize, you will be able to see the shifts that you're making every single day when you're conscious. A lot of times, PS, side note, real quick, when you're starting to feel a lot of energy in the body, it may feel like anxiety, okay? So just be aware of how your body feels. And if it feels like anxiety and nothing triggered that anxiety, it's most likely energy. energy moving in the body. Heart goes up fast. You can't catch your breath. In the beginning of my kind of massive shifts in consciousness, when I was getting really, really clear on my shift in consciousness and my awareness of it, I would notice moments where I was in an expanded state and my body was trying to acclimate these frequencies, and my heart rate would go so fast and so it would be beating so quickly that I couldn't catch my breath. And it was freaking me out, and I couldn't ground down, and I couldn't think straight. I was foggy, I couldn't do things, right? So just be aware of how you're labeling it. It might not be an anxiety attack. It may just be energy moving through the body. That's why you want to get really conscious and really clear about what you're feeling and experiencing. You're all doing a miraculous job. This is an evolution in consciousness within physical form. This is a miraculous gift. It's a natural process. It happens no matter what you do, as long as you're conscious, as long as you're participating, as long as you remember that in every now moment, in every second, minute, hour, and day, your body is acclimating, assimilating, and anchoring. That is all that it's doing all day long. I mean, other than metabolizing and all the things that the body does, right? To make you live and survive. And in terms of energy, every day, that's what it's doing. So whatever comes up, you look at it saying, oh, my body must be clearing out some massive density, okay? Oh my God, my body is able to hold this frequency. I feel amazing. Like, whatever it is, it just is, okay? I love you guys so much. I hope this video was useful. If you like the video, thumbs up. Leave a comment if you have a comment or want to ask a question. I'll try to answer it. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel. What else? I love you guys so much. I'm so grateful that we're all doing this together. And, we're breaking out of the shackles, and we're starting to get more aware and more clear. We're starting to recognize that we have the ability to make choice. We are not victims. We get to choose the paradigms we play in. We get to choose the thoughts that we want to have. We get to recognize that we're these massively amazing, energetic beings that have a resonance around us that gives us sort of the radar of how energy works in this third dimensional consciousness. We get to feel higher dimensional consciousness as we're starting to wake up to all these beautiful beings that are around us, communicating with us. It is a miraculous time to be on Earth. And by the way, P.S., you chose to be on the Earth at this time. You chose to be on the Earth at this time. This is the first time in Earth's history and humanity's history that there is an actual physical shift up in consciousness. The Earth didn't really have the time from the 5th to the 6th to do it because it got pulled down. So this is the first time since Earth was intended into creation and the human form was intended into creation that the actual human form and the Earth, who's already shifted in physical form into the next dimension, is actually shifting consciousness, is shifting dimensions physically. It's all physical right now, meaning the physical form is doing all the work. And this is the first time in the history of this evolution, Earth and humanity's journey through ascension, since the moment they were both intended. So you chose this now moment to be in human form, not by mistake, not by accident, not just because. You chose because you wanted to participate in whatever way you decided, you being the higher consciousness that dropped into human form that's inside your etheric body right now, that you're waking up to, you're starting to feel and connect with. That aspect of you said, I want to come in, I want to play, I want to be a part, I want to assist, I want to do whatever it is that I'm going to do as the human that I'm going to be during this miraculous physical ascension. And I remember that it's designed to be easy and graceful and natural. I love you. I'll see you next time. Bye.